श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् वेदान्तदेशिककटाक्षविवृद्धबोधं कान्तोपयन्त्रयमिनः करुणैकपात्रं वत्सान्भवायम् अनवद्यगुणैरुपेतं भक्त्या भजामि परवादिभयङ्करार्यम् 14 चंद्रमामा श्री स्वामी पुष्करिणिकाप्लवनिर्मलाङ्गाः
श्री स्वामिनि पुष्करिणी काप्लवनिर्मलाङ्गाः
स्वामिनी
श्री स्वामी पुष्करिणी काप्लवनिर्मलाङ्गाः
श्रेयोर्थिनो हरविरिञ्च सनन्दनाद्याः
श्रेयोर्थिनो हरविरिञ्च सनन्दनाद्याः श्रेयोर्थिनो हरविरिञ्च सनन्दनाद्याः
द्वारे वसन्ति वरवेत्र हतोत्तमाङ्गाः
द्वारे वसन्ति वरवेत्र हतोत्तमाङ्गाः द्वारे वसन्ति वरवेत्र हतोत्तमाङ्गाः
श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्
श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीस्वामी पुष्करिणिकाप्लवनिर्मलाङ्गाः श्रेयोर्थिनो हरविरिञ्च सनन्दनाद्याः द्वारे वसन्ति वरवेत्र हतोत्तमाङ्गाः श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीस्वामी पुष्करिणिकाप्लवनिर्मलाङ्गाः श्रेयोर्थिनो हरविरिञ्च सनन्दनाद्याः द्वारे वसन्ति वरवेत्र हतोत्तमाङ्गाः श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्
श्रीशेषशैलकल्पक श्रीशेषशैलगरुडाचल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषाद्रिमुख्याम्
श्रीशेषशैल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषादिमुख्याम्
वृषाद्रिमुख्याम्
श्रीशेषशैल गरुडाचल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषाद्रिमुख्याम् श्रीशेषशैल गरुडाचल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषाद्रिमुख्याम्
आख्यां त्वदीय वसतेरनिशं वदन्ति
आख्यां त्वदीय वसतेरनिशं वदन्ति आख्यां त्वदीय वसतेरनिशं वदन्ति श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीशेषशैलगरुडाचल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषाद्रिमुख्याम् आख्यां त्वदीयवसतेरनिशं वदन्ति श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम् श्रीशेषशैलगरुडाचल वेङ्कटाद्रि नारायणाद्रि वृषभाद्रि वृषाद्रिमुख्याम् आख्यां त्वदीयवसतेरनिशं वदन्ति श्रीवेङ्कटाचलपते तव सुप्रभातम्.
Very nice. Shri Swami Pushkarini Kaplava Nirmalangaha. Shri Swami Pushkarini. So there is this Pushkarini. Those who have been to Tirumala. There is this Pushkarini there called Swami Pushkarini. So usually the tradition is you go or take a dip. Usually that's the tradition with most of the temples in India, right? The column nu சொல்லுவா column இருக்கும் அந்த இடத்துல. Of course, the column is used for multiple purposes. There are celebrations and processions held in the column. Whenever there is some event, they decorate the whole place, and sometimes there is some kind of an installation of some deity in the middle of the column, and then that is also celebrated. But usually one of the purposes of a column is, besides every temple, is so that you can cleanse yourself and then go into the temple, right? Practice of washing your feet, washing your body, basically cleansing. Something similar to what we are going to do in the Panchakshetra Yatra. We are going to take a dip in Prayagraj first, and then we are going to go for the Yatra. So that way you cleanse yourself and then you go to the temple, right? And even at home, what you do is you usually take bath or take a shower and then go to the altar. So this ritual, is it really required in that sense? It's probably yes and no, because this ritual is not to be done as a ritual. It's essentially a process where you're cleansing yourself so that your body and your mind becomes more receptive when you're going into that space, a consecrated space, right? So when you're going into the temple, into the Garbhagraha, it's a consecrated space, and the intention there is you go and receive the energy that is there in that space. So when you go cleanse yourself, means what? You're cleansing yourself. Then the water falls on the body, the tensions of the body, the laziness, the lethargy, all of that cleanses off. A lot of times you'll see when you're really stressed during the day, you go and take a shower in the evening, either a cold water or a hot water shower. Apadi, there's this feeling of relief that will come. What has happened? The water has cleansed something in your physiological and psychic system. The water has cleansed something. So that cleansing is an important process, so that you then become receiving of what is being offered in that space, right? So then that is the best way to go in. So you're saying Shri Swami Pushkarini Kaplava Nirmalangaha. Your angas are all becoming nirmala. Your body is becoming nirmala. In fact, I recently went to Guruvayurappan Kovil, where they ask you to, the tradition there is they ask you to take off your shirts. Right? They still maintain that tradition in that temple. And one of the reasons you go either wet, or you take off your shirts, or you go with a lot of gold ornaments. This is another practice. See, women need to be covered on the top. So they typically wear a lot of gold ornaments when they go to the temple. This is another practice. Why? Is because gold is also a good conductor of good vibrations. It can receive and hold. So you open, for men, you go bare chested, so that whatever is the vibration of the place, your body receives it. And by means of cleansing, you're taking shower, you're taking a bath, you're taking a dip. By means of that, you're cleansing your body, and then you're exposing yourself to the vibration that is available there. Going wet is another thing that people typically would do. அப்படியே ஈரமா போறது, just go wet, don't wipe the water off. That's another process. But we got to be careful also, because you don't want to wet the whole place and make it messy, right? But still, this is another practice that people do. Reason being, water is also water also has an ability to absorb um, the vibrations present in the environment, and then through water as a medium, the vibrations enter into our system, into our body. So these are ways in which we typically approach the deity when we go into the sanctum sanctorum. These are some of the ways. And it's good also in the household, it is good to maintain that kind of a regimen, because then there is a certain sanctity of the altar that you maintain. Otherwise, the altar area will become as casual as any other place in the house. Then the energy that you're building there may not be of that value. You build an altar in your household so that the energy in that space that you build feeds you later when you go. The whole process, suddenly if you keep Rama Krishna Padam in the house, of course there may be a little bit of intrinsic value in the deities and the images that you keep, but the greater value is essentially established by you going and doing something at the altar. Excuse me. Srividya?
இல்ல டவுட், தலையில டவலோட விளக்கேத்த கூடாதுன்னு அப்படி சொல்றா இல்லையா, அது என்ன ரீசன்?
What is that?
தலையில டவலோட விளக்கேத்த கூடாதுன்னு சொல்றா இல்லையா?
Okay, so there is another thing that we also do. We do similar things during when we are doing the last rites for people. Karyam பண்றது சொல்லுவா இல்லையா, the last rites when we do, there are some things that we do. We go wet, we keep our hairs wet, and things like that we do. We try not to do those things during regular times. We don't do those things. அதெல்லாம் வந்து, for example, for men who wear punal, one of the reasons we say don't wear the punal in the opposite direction is because the punal is worn in the opposite direction when you're doing a pitru karyam. So like that, there are things, or don't go apradarsanam. Some of these things are done particularly when you're doing a pitru karyam. Those who are familiar with tarpanam and those things that are done in the household, these are things that are so this possibly falls into that. They may say that don't do like this, because this is when you're going with you're wet with your hair and you tie a towel essentially. I think that's possibly done when you are trying to do the last rites, because there also the reason you do that for is similar, is for being pure. Essentially, you don't want to you want to, because once somebody is dead, the environment starts, so there is this bacteria that will start operating intensely in that form that is died, because it will start decaying. There are various kinds of germs, etc., that will get released. So you don't want to be infected by that. So that is one of the reasons we also take a shower, take a bath, and do that multiple times when somebody has passed away and you're doing the last rites, right? So the reason is nirmala angaha. Your anga has to be nirmala, has to be pure. But what you do on a regular basis as part of your sadhana, the nirmala that you're trying to achieve, is so that the vibrations and the space can influence you. So when you go into a temple or when you go into an altar, if you build this practice in your household, you will notice that your altar will exude a different kind of energy. This in practice, I've experienced this. I've seen that um, having set up an altar, which is a separate, and allowing ourselves to go there only to do, like you do dhyana or puja or chanting or stuff like that. That space is used only for that. Over time, others experience something in that space.
Yes.
They find some kind of peace, some kind of serenity in that space. Because what you have done is you've used that space only singularly for one purpose, which is to uh, build a slightly positive energy in that space, right? Even if two people are sitting, like for instance, we would also try not to have food in that place, drinking, eating, we don't do it in that space. Likewise, two people are sitting there and you start engaging in a conversation, and if it starts becoming an argumentative conversation, leave that space and try to build the subtle energy, because subtle energy is very easy to crack them and very easy to break them and disturb them. These subtle energies that build takes a lot of time, and it can very easily be disturbed also. So you have to maintain it, you have to incubate the space for a period of time with a fair amount of intent. Then that space starts feeding you back. As you'll experience this, you'll see when your mind is low, you don't have to do anything, no japa dhyana, nothing. You don't feel like, just go and sit in that space that you created over the last several years. You go and sit there, you will find that peace, and suddenly you'll feel your mind has come to a certain level of calm just by sitting in that space. And sometimes in that space, it's also good to keep a chant running all the time, like a Om or a Om Namo Narayanaya or Om Namah Shivaya. Some chant keeps reverberating in that space. It helps build uh, a certain positive vibration. Okay, so here he's talking about Sri Swami Pushkarini Kaplava Nirmal Anga. He is going into, he is saying that who's doing this. He's going to explain who's doing this. He says that Shreyor Thino, great people like Hara Virinchi Sanandanadhyaha. Hara is Shiva. Virincha is Brahma. Sananda Adhyaha. Sanandana Adhyaha. So there are these Brahma Kumaras, or the four Manasaputras of Brahma. Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, or Sanat Sujatiya. So these are the four Sanat Kumaras. Sanata Sujatiya. So Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanata Sujatiya. So these four are known to be Brahma's Manasaputras, and they are, in fact, you will see the image of Dakshinamurti. You will see four very old men sitting at his feet. They are the Sanat Kumaras at the feet of Dakshinamurti.
Buddha Shishya Gurur Yuva.
Aveda. Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. So the visual there is the Guru is Yuva. He is a young man, while the disciples are Vriddha. They are old, very old. So they are sitting at the feet of Dakshinamurti and learning from him. And these four Manasaputras, they apparently come with every formation of every Chatur Yuga. Whenever, or with every Brahma, whenever there is a Brahma that's created, these Manasaputras are also created from Brahma, so that they go and spread spirituality, the wisdom of the highest truth. So they are essentially considered to be very wise men, but they are also waiting at your doorstep. So he says, Dware Vasanti, who are all waiting at your doorstep, Hara, Virinche, and the the Sanat Kumaras, they're all at your doorstep. Shreyorthino, they are great, best amongst men, best amongst devotees. They are waiting. Sri Swami Pushkarini Kaplava Nirmala Angaha. So they have taken a dip in the Pushkarini, Swami Pushkarini, and these best amongst devotees, best amongst men, they are they are the ones who've taken a dip in Swami Pushkarini, and Dware Vasanti Varavetra Hatottamangaha. So they are waiting at your doorstep, and waiting for what? They're staying at the doorstep waiting for a glance or a pat from you. So this Hatottamangaha is, Hata is to get hit. Uttama Angaha. Hatottama Angaha is Hata Uttama Angaha. So to be hit or struck by you in a very in an exceedingly beneficial way. Uttamangaha. By what? By Vetra. Vetra means a cane. So it's Varavetra. Varavetra means a cane that gives you the boon. Varada. Vara dadati. Varam dadati. So Varavetra is the Vetra that gives Varam. And this Vetra, the cane, they are waiting to get hit by. Hata. Varavetra, which is the cane which gives a boon or gives you fulfills your desires, they are waiting to be hit by it. Hata Uttama Angaha, on their body. This is very kind of interesting, funny, right? But which means, why would you want to get hit? But see, actually, this is, I don't know, maybe Raghu can probably give his input. There is this practice of, see, what we experience when we go to the near Perumal in Tirupati is they do Jaragandi and they drive you away, right? They keep moving you. But there's also a practice of hitting you on your back. So when you're facing Bhagavan there'll be some pujari who's standing with his back to Bhagavan, but he uses some kind of a stick to hit each one, as though he is passing on the blessings of Perumal to you. Raghu, is there this practice somewhere in Tirumala someplace?
Madurai, that they used to hit us with the peacock feathers. And in Nagar, Darga also they used to.
Darga, they do that. Yes, you're
do this. Yeah.
absolutely. You're right. You're right.
Our
வாரணாசியில உண்டு. வாரணாசியில காசி யாத்திரை சம்பூர்ணம்னு போட்டது.
Yes.
Varanasi, that Uttarakashi, Kashi, and Gangotri also. All the places they did this, patting our back with hand or
They will in fact, Varanasi, they will make you bend and they'll hit you on the
hit
back.
you.
Yeah. Some places what they'll do is they'll have some kind of a cloth and they'll hit you with the cloth.
Yeah.
Madurai person is very famous. Visri Tatan. We met him this time.
Oh, I see. And in
Katra also, Vaishnavi Devi.
Vaishno Devi also, right? And this time we went to Srinath Ji. I don't know those who remember, in Srinath Ji there was Raghu, you remember? In Srinath Ji they were doing that. They were using a cloth to beat us on the back. So they'll beat you like that and they'll ask you to move.
Yes. Yeah. Sanctum.
Correct. So this is Varavetra Hatottamanga. This is the practice of the tradition of passing on the blessings of the deity of Perumal by hitting you. Now this hitting is an interesting process because hitting essentially is a way of waking you up also. right? In fact, those who are familiar with Narasimha temples, if you've been to Sholingar, it's a little further from Arakonam. We had spoken about Sholingar. There is a Yoga Narasimha who sits on the top of a hill.
Mm.
And the practice in most Narasimha temples is that they will take, the Vadyar will take water
Yes.
in his palm and with force splash it on your face.
In Gundaseelam also they do that. Jay.
Gunaseelam also.
சோழிங்கர்ல பண்ணோம் அது பார்த்துருக்காங்க.
பார்த்திருக்கேன் இல்லையா?
வந்த உடனே எல்லாரும் இது தெளிப்பாரு. நான் வந்து யூஸ்வலா அந்த இது பண்றான்னு நினைச்சேன். அப்புறம் பார்த்தா எல்லாருக்குமே அது மாதிரி பண்றாரு. அப்புறம் சொன்னாங்க அது ஜலத்தால தெளிப்பாரு. அது பட்டுன்னு அடிப்பாரு அவரு.
பட்டுன்னு அடிப்பா. You'll not expect it.
ஆமா.
You'll not expect
அது
it.
And again it
ஐயப்பா டெம்பிள்ஸ் கூட அந்த மாதிரி
Gives
பிராக்டிஸ்
you
உண்டு.
you awaken with a jerk.
a kind of gives you a little bit of orientation. It kind of shifts a little. It kind of reorients you, helps you reorient. And of course, a lot of people get upset. என்ன நன்னா மேக்கப்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு போனா மூஞ்சியே.
அப்ப கண்ணை மூடக்கூடாதும்பா. குணசீலத்துல தண்ணி அடிக்கும்போது அந்த சித்த பிரம்மக்கோசரம் நிறைய பேர் கூட்டின்னு வருவா. அவனா கண்ணை மூடக்கூடாதும்பா. தண்ணிய பளிச்சுன்னு கண்ணுல அடிக்கும்போது கண்ணை மூடாதீங்க. அது எப்படி?
Correct.
Again சோழிங்கர்ல நம்ம மலை ஏறி வந்திருப்போம் இல்லையா?
Exhaustion.
வந்து எக்ஸாஷன்ல இட் வில் பி வெரி ரிஃப்ரெஷிங். அண்ட் உடனே என்ன சொல்ற தெளிச்சுட்டு நரசிம்மரை பாருங்க யோகத்துல இருக்க உடனே பாருங்கன்னு.
Very nice. Correct. See, look at this. So this is the beauty in this whole process, right? So some places they hit you, some places they splash water on your face. They do these different things. Essentially, whether you get the blessing of Bhagavan, you take it, okay, Perumal வந்து எனக்கு ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்றேங்கிறது ஒண்ணு. But essentially, you are made to wake up. Even queue la ninnu, if you're standing in the queue and you're so tired and exhausted, by the time you're looking at Bhagavan, you may be like, Sabha, you're exhausted. So that hit or that splash or something that you do, somebody else does it. It's a little difficult for us to shake ourselves up like this and to look at it, right? It may not be that effective. But when somebody slaps you, takan or slap or adi or duo, then it kind of invigorates your system and it reorients you. Now suddenly you need to your attention is always true. Whenever you get hit, your attention will suddenly intensify for that moment, right? Because it puts your body and mind into a state of a small state of shock. When you go into that state of shock and you reorient yourself, so imagine you're standing, you're coming in front of Perumal in Sannadhi, and then you're getting that hit, and then you open your eyes and you see, you'll notice that what you see at that moment suddenly will feel fresh, like Mama's saying. Sorry. So it will suddenly feel fresh. Now this, they're saying that Varavetra, this is a cane it's a boon-giving cane or a desire-fulfilling stick with which Hata Uttama Angaha, your body, you're waiting to get beaten by. So who are all waiting? Hara Virincha Sanandanadhyaha, they're all waiting. Dware Vasanti. They're staying at your doorstep to get hit by this. Now, when will this happen? When your doors are open, right? When Perumal's door is not open and somebody comes and hits you, you will hit him back.
இதனாலதான் சின்ன வயசுல வந்து பசங்களை அடிச்சு அப்புறம் சொல்லுவான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். என்ன சொல்றாங்கிறது காதல் ஓடணுங்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு உதை கொடுத்துட்டு சொன்னாதான் கேட்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதான்
that is true. It actually அதான் சொன்ன மாதிரி it kind of reorients your attention a little bit and you start paying attention. It's certainly that happens.
And again, see, some people when they are unconscious or when they swoon, funny, you pat them. You
Yeah, correct.
doctors கூட பண்ணுவாங்க. Doctors also do it. Even when you're still born, baby, they give a pat and just with them.
Correct. No, absolutely. So these are all ways in which you're trying to bring attention of that individual to the present moment, because it's also possible the mind may be drifting somewhere. See, the important thing is, it's not that you may not be tired or you may still be okay, but your mind may drift somewhere else. Right? You're coming to the altar and your time at the bus na book பண்ணிருக்கேனே அந்த பஸ் என்ன விட்டுட்டு போயிட கூடாது, I should be able to go down in time. All of that, there are several things that come into your mind. So by that slap or that hit or that splash, something that happens, it suddenly reorients your attention. So they're all waiting there. Dware vasanti varavetra hatottamangaha. They're waiting there at your doorstep, Perumal, O Bhagavan, so that they may receive of this blessing. Because we always want someone, this is true in our lives, we should thank somebody who gives us a bit of a shock in our lives and help us open up your eyes and come to the present moment. A lot of times we may think that being in a monotony, in a certain state of monotony of the mind, we don't want to be disturbed. But some level of monotony can cause certain amount of lethargy in our system. Because when you're doing the things that you're doing, same things you're doing again and again and again and again and again, it can cause a fair amount of that monotony can cause a great deal of lethargy. And then when somebody comes and shakes you up, like Mama said, you and then you kind of, oh, okay, now I orient. Now this can happen through an incident, through an event. The Hatothamangaha doesn't have to necessarily be a physical act. It can be an event that has happened in your life. A sudden shocking event that happened, which you wouldn't expect. Or it's happened elsewhere and you heard it. And then you suddenly start thinking. A lot of times these events, these shocks are important to set your mind into, intensify the introspection, intensify the contemplation. Otherwise it can go into lethargic mode. So while you're there which see, the other important thing is, it's also to say, when I'm standing at the door of Venkateswara, I'm standing there, and when the door opens, and if I am not alert and awake, I'll miss it. Right? I miss it. It's a fleeting moment and I'll miss it. நீ பாத்தியா அப்படின்னு போயிடும். Right? So that is very important in terms of being alert and awake. So essentially the process of keeping alert and staying alert is what is discussed here. So Shri Swami Pushkarini Kaplava Nirmalangaha, you cleanse yourself, your body, your mind, everything. Shreyorthino Hara Virincha Sanandanadhyaha. Even those great exalted men, people are doing this, and they're waiting at their doorstep. Dware Vasanti Varavetra Hatothamangaha. They're waiting to get a knock on their head, as it were, right? from the divine staff. Shri Venkatachalapate, Tava Suprabhatam. O Venkatachalapate, please wake up.
குருஜி பிளாவன்னா என்ன?
Sorry, ma.
அந்த ஸ்ரீ சுவாமி புஷ்கரிணிகா பிளாவ நிர்மலாங்க, பிளாவன்னா என்ன?
It is aplava. Aplava means the process of cleansing or bathing.
Process of cleansing.
The bathing or the bathing process is called aplava, and because of aplava, your angaha becomes nirmala. So in Sri Swami Pushkarini, you do aplava, you bathe, and because of that, your angaha becomes nirmala. So We are just about time. I think we will pause here. Excuse me, for today. Because next one is, it talks about the 7 hills. Right. So we will look at that next week. Om Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakate swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami sadashivayeti samarpayami jagadambikayeti samarpayami sadgurunathayeti samarpayami Hari Om Tat Satgurubhyo Namaha. I think going forward, whenever we go to these temples and somebody like a Vadya or someone hits you, just remember this. Let's use that opportunity to kind of become alert. Right? In fact, some people go to the extent of in the side matuna adicha, can you hit me this side? The point is not where you're getting hit. The point is, are you waking up and being alert? So
ஹரியம் குருஜி எனக்கு மதுரை தான். அந்த தாத்தா மேல தட்டுவாரு. என்னடா அந்த தாத்தா எல்லாரும் தட்டிட்டு இருக்கேன்னு அப்ப யோசிச்சிருக்கேன். இப்ப நீங்க சொல்லவும் ஐ எம் ரிமெம்பரிங். விசிறி தாத்தா தான் அங்க ஸ்பெஷல். அவர் வந்து சுவாமி சன்னதி சைட்ல நின்னுட்டு விசிறி இது பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பார். மயில் விசிறி ஆட்டினே இருப்பார் எல்லாருமே. ஏன் இந்த தாத்தா எல்லார் மேலயும் படுற மாதிரி சும்மா ஆட்டினே இருக்காருன்னு நான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். Now I am understanding this.
Very nice. Very good. Oh, Kalpaka has sent an image in the chat. Okay, so this is. Let me just share this on the screen. I don't know if it will allow me to share.
இவர்தான் விசிறி தாத்தா ஆக்சுவலி.
Ah,
எல்லா திருவிழாலையும் இவரோட இது மெயினா இருக்கும். இவர் தான் ஃபுல்லா விசிறிண்டே இருந்திருக்காரு. Now he is no more ஜியானா.
இல்ல இருக்காரு.
எல்லாருக்குமே அடிக்க மாட்டாரா?
லாஸ்ட் டைம் மெசேஜ் வந்ததே அவர் இறந்துட்டாருன்னு.
இல்ல we saw him
மதுரை குரூப்ல.
1 week.
Okay. 2 months back I got a message.
I see. Share. Very nice, ma. Good. Thanks for sharing. Hari Om.
ஹரியம்.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Guru.
Hari Om.